Hello everyone, welcome back to the Snug Ray P YouTube channel. It's Friday the 13th, so today I'm going to be reading you a home-cooked creepypasta. Sit back, relax, and let's get started. And maybe a change of undies too. This is a real piss your pants situation. Alright, let's get started. I was up one night in my second-floor bedroom, unable to sleep because I had the horrible condition called insomnia. I was slurping up a munchy bowl of watermelon, and when I was browsing the interwebs on my old Toshiba laptop that overheated if I scrolled faster than every 2 seconds. I was on a 4chan thread when I heard of a game called Facade. I'd never heard of this game before, although I'd heard my friends talk about it. They all said it was super cool because of what it was capable of doing, but I'd never really cared to check it out myself. When I talked to them about it, stop playing Facade, why can't we ball like we used to? They would turn their backs and say, that's not how it's pronounced. Since then, I'd never heard from them. It hadn't been that long anyway since I pissed them off, so I was never really alarmed by their disappearance after having this argument with them. Out of mere curiosity and boredom, I decided to check out the game anyway and see what it was all about. Although I thought it would be a stupid kids game, it had these stupid-looking characters that looked straight out of some kids' film. I loaded up the screen when there was a threatening pair of red curtains presented to me. It was a little alarming since it was at night, so the red screen filled up my face and teared up my eyes. I took another big gulp of my watermelon. Threateningly enough, it was also in Comic Sans, so it had just been some kind of kids game, though there's something off about it, and its silence as it told me to wait 60 seconds to play the game. Eventually, it faded to black when I heard a cuck start to speak.
Wow.
Soon enough, this guy says his name is Trip, and that for some damn reason he wants me to come over. He sounded quite frightened, however, and to be frank, a little scared of something. He tripped up on some of his words, and made it a little bit awkward. After our call ended with a beep, I heard some unsettling ambience being played in the background for some reason as I saw the 2 characters pop up on screen. There was something off about the weird pixelated apartment with low graphics from 2005 and them just stiffly standing there. Something told me something was off. As I took another big bite of my red, juicy melon. Trip, for a split second, I could have sworn he looked angry. When the screen went away, I was prompted to select a name in the list. I was about to choose Joe for the United States of America, until I scrolled a little bit down and I saw something horrifying. Melon was the next name, and I was intrigued by this. I didn't know someone could name their kid Melon. I had a big smile on my face as I pressed enter on the name Melon, though I found it a bit strange. It was then that I found myself in front of their apartment. And, strangely enough, I heard some people yelling in the apartment. I figured I should have left as I went for the elevator door behind me, but I heard a door open and Trip with a relieved smile on his face. His voice glitched out when my name should have been there. He said, God, it's been so long, since I've seen you. I was a bit creeped out. There was something off since the ambience felt unsettling, with him just standing there staring at me silently, waiting for me to come in. I didn't want to, but curiosity really killed that cat. I stepped in. He shut the door behind me. I had made a big mistake then. I really should have turned back. Suddenly, I heard Grace stumble into the room, saying, "Here we are." She really seemed happy, but something was off. There was some sort of unsettling nature by her presence. The screen would flicker black as she stared at me. I had heard usually Trip would ask you if you wanted something to drink, or Grace to ask for your opinion on the apartment. But they just sat there and stared at me. I felt a shiver run down my spine as the music only played louder and louder and more unsettling I felt. I took another big bite of my only comfort food before they both simultaneously walked into the back room, past the kitchen down the hall. They were mumbling something about melons in the other room. I could hear them arguing in their usual Trip and Grace fashion. I was a little bit ticked off by this. I was a little bit ticked off by this as I typed them to come back. Eventually they did, but I heard a couple of metal things being moved around in the other room. Cautiously, Trip went out with a big smile on his face, bigger than it should have been. He ushered me to come back into the living room, and before asking me what my favorite food was, I was excited since I had just been eating it. I was cut off before I could say the entire word. His eyes grew wide and scary looking, and suddenly I couldn't move. Grace came into the room all wide-eyed too. They both stared at me with those big and suspenseful eyes, their pupils as small as pin dots and ambience not calming my nerves at all. Suddenly, they were both advancing slowly towards me, bit by bit, painfully watching them slowly come closer and closer. I felt my heart beat faster, but I figured something that was just a part of the game, and that maybe it was just an alternate ending that I had triggered somehow. The game went pitch black and my heart stopped. I was frozen as I looked in fear. My screen suddenly beeped loudly and switching to blue and white text in Comic Sans, showing up error code melon. The word melon kept on repeating over and over again, continuously drawing on my screen until it went pitch black. I felt my face get dragged towards the monitor. I wasn't sure why at this time. I had a mouthful of melon as I studied the black screen closely. Suddenly, I heard my phone ring. I figured it was one of my friends, and I was bored because I would have to wait for my crappy Toshiba laptop to boot up again. I accepted the call without even looking at it. As soon as I accepted it, I could only hear breathing on the other end. I figured since it was Friday the 13th, one of my friends were just pulling a prank on me and trying to scare me, so I laughed it off and said, "Quit it." But they didn't. As I heard a familiar voice say,
"Glad I can make it."
my heart stopped. I heard a shifting outside my door before I heard something terrifying. The handle began to squeak slowly, someone twisting their hand on it. I almost choked. I was terrified. The door creaked, slowly beginning to open with a horrid sound of silence everywhere else. I saw him. His face was full of anger. It was Trip, with the phone in his hand as he crushed it between his sharp and long, claw-like fingers. I cried as he came towards me, his limbs glitching as his arms got longer. He took the melon from my hand and tried to choke me with it as we tussled towards my window.
We'll be fine.
Just go, his voice said demonically as he tried to force me out of the window, his eyes black and dripping with blood as his red pupils stared at me straight in the eye. He was gonna kill me and make me drop off my balcony. I cried out, "Mommy!" before I heard Grace come in and put a bag over my head. She pulled me out of the room. I didn't know how long it was, but all I remember was that I could still taste the melon in my mouth as the two pulled me towards the door in the back. All I can say is, I don't have much time, but remember, the back room is where those unfortunate few who say,
Melon.
go. If you listen to this entire thing, you are a G. I'm telling you, you are the G. Alright. Why would you listen to me for 11 minutes? 11 and a half? Yeah, we're 11:40. Yeah, why would you listen to me that long? Thank you, though. I'm flattered. Alright, I'll see you in my next animation, probably. Love you. Mwah.